On this episode, we pay tribute to an absolute legend from our childhood. So hold on to your butts, because we watched Jurassic Park and you're listening to Geeked Out.
Lights down, screen up, here we go. Talking movies everybody knows. The good, the bad, the ones we quote. Welcome to the Geeked Out Podcast Show! Geeked Out! Tell me where we roll. Breaking down the stories that we all know. Geeked Out! Grab a seat and hang around. Movie lovers getting geeked out. Geeked Out!
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeked Out. My name is Kyle.
Juan here. What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great week so far.
Well, while we're on that subject, we might as well dive right into the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, we're starting off a new series, which Juan and I have discussed amongst ourselves as well as on the pod. We are going to be doing 4 separate directors and doing 4 movies from each director, kind of trying to celebrate that part of the filmmaking world. And it just so happened that this week Juan suggested or had us do the film Jurassic Park. And then just a couple of days ago before recording, the unfortunate news came that Sam Niell, Dr. Alan Grant himself, passed away. And it just kind of felt, I don't know, it was a little serendipitous that we happened to be scheduled to record this episode, and just a real unfortunate event that happened. And I'll even say the day that it happened, I woke up and I had a message from you that said something along the lines of like, "Oh, it's kind of interesting we're doing Jurassic Park this week." I had no idea what you were talking about because I had just woken up. I hadn't even heard the news, and
I couldn't even say it yet. I couldn't even say it.
A few hours later, I went on Facebook and I saw an in memoriam, and I, of course, with all the hoaxes going around these past few years, I went on to the Google machine and I looked it up, and sure enough, it confirmed that at the age of, I believe it was 78 or 73, I'll double check that real quick. Sam Niell unfortunately passed away.
Yes, Dr. Grant. Yeah, it's
Yeah, he was 78. I'm sorry.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen Sam Niell in a few.
Life to live.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
he led a good life, ultimately. But there was still tons to live, and it sucked.
Yeah, and I mean, I had seen growing up and throughout my years of watching things, I've seen him in a handful of other projects, but I mean, for me, and I'm sure like so many other people out there, especially people in our age range, he will always be Dr. Alan Grant to me, and I'm sure to you as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen him in other things as well, but whenever I see him in anything, I don't look at him as the actor. I look at him as the character, Mr. Grant, Dr. Grant there.
Yeah, and I mean, there are very, very few actors who I think would go through that and would only be recognized pretty much categorically by everybody as that one singular character.
Yeah, because usually when a character is typecast, it's usually like a superhero, like a Superman or a Batman. But he was typecast as just a normal, human character. It says a lot to how integral he was to kids of my generation, our generation.
I mean, I credit him, Steven Spielberg, Michael Crichton, kind of those three for my love of dinosaurs that I still have to this day, and it's just everything about dinosaurs, because of the work that those three specifically mainly put into this movie. I to this day am in love with them. I'm fascinated by them. I try and watch as much as I can when it comes to them. Like this movie started a real love affair with me and dinosaurs.
They single-handedly kept dinosaurs relevant still to this day. And I think as much as I enjoy some of the sequels that this followed, each one is still trying to chase something that they're never gonna catch with this with that they got with the first one.
Yeah, there was something about this movie where it was the story, the cast, I mean, you could even also say the cast of dinosaurs that they chose.
The fact, yeah,
Um,
and like at the time there wasn't so many heavy focus on CG movies. It was like the dawn of that era,
we're gonna get into
and
that too, but yeah,
oh yeah, and they did something smart. They didn't rely solely on the CG like movies uh, that have come since. They merged it with practical effects, and I think personally, whenever you do that, it looks you're able to be more immersed into the effect that's happening. Um, and it does uh it ages very well, way more than plain CG. And there's so many examples of it, and this is the prime example for me when it comes to that.
yeah. I think the big thing with the use of the CGI in this movie is obviously now everything we get is so heavily reliant on the CGI and the green screen aspect and so on and so forth. This movie used it sparingly in that they also, like you say, used the practical effects. They used animatronics, but they used the CGI to enhance what those animatronics were already doing. And I
Yeah,
think the blend of it is, I mean, it's as seamless as I could find. And what's crazy to me about this is this movie came out in 1993. I can You can probably go and find a handful of movies that have been made in the last 10 to 15 years that don't look as good as this movie does, which is a wild statement to make.
yeah, I agree. And again, they didn't. I mean, maybe they were limited to their budget or resources that they couldn't really use too much CG. And I'm glad that they were limited to that because he kind of used a lot of what he learned from Jaws and implemented into this movie. Where some of the time you don't even see the dinosaur. You're just whenever the in certain scenes when the dinosaur is attacking or just before it shows itself, just the sound
Yeah,
and
it's all done by sound and tension building.
exactly, and you're able to use your imagination as well, which is another aspect of this movie that they utilized in a perfect manner.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, before we dive into the movie, I'm going to run us through the details real quick. So, Jurassic Park was originally released on June 11th of 1993 on an estimated budget of $63 million. It brought in a worldwide box office. Now, this is including the re-release. I could not write out, I didn't get the numbers for just the initial, but the current worldwide box office is $1.1 billion for just this movie. It currently sits on IMDb at an 8.2 out of 10. And both critics and fans on Rotten Tomatoes have this scored at a 91%. It was directed, of course, by Steven Spielberg, the man who is the theme for these next few episodes. The screenplay was written by David Koepp and Michael Crichton, based on the book written by Michael Crichton. It stars Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Richard Attenborough, Jeff Goldblum, Joseph Mazzello, Ariana Richards, Samuel L. Jackson, and Wayne Knight. The synopsis
It's
of the
well,
movie:
it's pronounced Samuel Jackson, motherfucker.
he didn't
That
swear
should
in this
be
movie, so
no, no. There was
he
no.
smoked
It
like
was
a
early in his
goddamn
career.
chimney.
It was early in his career before the motherfuckers, and he
No,
had hair. Wild to
yeah,
see.
yeah, he didn't swear, but like I said, he smoked like a goddamn chimney in this movie.
He smoked to the point where he was smoking the
The
butt,
filter,
the
oh
filter of
god,
the goddamn cigarette. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh my goodness. I'm sure there's some type of symbolism here or whatever, but take that damn cigarette out your mouth, man. Damn. You
as
know
somebody
you're not smoking tobacco at that point, bruh.
as somebody who used to be a cigarette smoker, just seeing that gives me chills because I'm like, no, I would never smoke
Yeah.
into the filter. Like,
I never noticed that before. I wasn't really paying attention that, I guess. But yeah, even though I've seen this movie a million times, I just never really noticed that. And noticing it now, my current rewatch, yeah, that made me feel a little uneasy too. So just
Well,
fucking
it, it,
spit it
br-
out.
it,
So I'm
it brought
screaming
out
at the screen.
the ick factor.
Yeah, I'm yelling at the screen for no goddamn reason.
So
You
the
know, listen.
synopsis of this movie is an industrialist invites some experts to visit his theme park of cloned dinosaurs, and after a power failure, the creatures run loose, putting everyone's lives, including his grandchildren's, in danger. Now, so right off the bat, the opening of this movie, it's both terrifying and also mind-boggling, because I got some questions for Mr. Hammond here with this raptor loading nonsense.
And I got questions from Steven Spielberg. Why'd you kill the brother first, man? Why was it the brother first, man?
Because this is technically a horror movie.
Oh,
This is technically a horror movie. Don't you know the rule?
got rid of the brother immediately. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, bro.
But here's my question. Okay, so in 1990, so the movie was probably made in 92 because it was released in 93. But even still, in 1992, wouldn't you think there would be a way, like, he talks all through the movie about how they spared no expense, and they've obviously put a ton of money into this park. Yeah. How is it that this container, the locks, for whatever fucking reason, don't seem to engage, or they don't seem to hold? And also, why do you have a human person on top of this thing pulling the gate up? Shouldn't that be some sort of automated mechanism so that the fewest amount of people are in harm's way? Like, all it seems to be is this thing rushes out of the entrance of it and somehow knocks the entire cage back, and this man is just obliterated by this. We don't even know, at this point, we don't even know what it is.
I mean, maybe
we just know it's a dinosaur.
Maybe he has plans to do that, and because do they mention when the park is going to be open, or is it just he wants approval from the board or the investors and Alan Grant's team?
So what it is they never actually say when the park is going to open, but so basically what ends up happening is after this, you get the exposition from the lawyer that the investors are very nervous because of this incident. And in order for the lawyer and the investors to sign off on the park, they have to get the scientists to sign off on the park. So had this guy never had this accident and died, Grant and Ellie and Ian Malcolm and even the lawyer would never have gone to the park for the weekend excursion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, I mean, so that whole thing is like, it's just mind-boggling that he just allows this to be done. And again, like I said, we don't know what kind of animal, what kind of dinosaur this is, because they don't say it right away. But
a mean one.
I mean, just the scene when Muldoon is holding him, I probably just have the sound effect of Robert Muldoon yelling "shoot her" in my head just randomly twice a week.
Really?
Just shoot her!
Yeah. Well, it was a very tense moment. They, wasn't it like slow motion? Didn't they use a little slow motion in those scenes there?
I think the slow motion was the hand kind of disappearing under his arm.
Yeah,
and then they fade out into the scene of the lawyer in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it left an imprint on you, for sure. Certain scenes, certain moments, when it's emotional like that, will definitely, if they say a certain line, it'll imprint on you. That is one is for you. That's funny.
I learned very quickly watching this movie. I've seen this movie so many times. Now, if anybody's ever watched a movie with me, I have the horrible habit of saying the lines because I've always had that type of a memory where I can remember the lines from movies. This one, I could almost recite word for word.
Like the whole movie?
Damn close.
Okay.
Like, I was even surprising myself sometimes, being like I wasn't saying it, but I was doing it along in my head. But I was like, I know fucking almost every word to this movie.
Yeah, I definitely had those moments too, just because there's just iconic lines said in this movie. But you definitely would have me beat when it comes to memorizing lines.
It's just something I've always done that everybody around me seems to hate. Well, we go for that scene is so full of tension, and then, in my opinion, this next scene with the lawyer in the Dominican with the amber mine, I don't think we needed this, because all this does is give the exposition that the lawyer needs, that they're looking into it. There's a lawsuit from the family of the worker, and they need to get scientists to go to the park. This could have been him walking through an office on a phone call to drop the exposition. You didn't need this whole set piece of the amber mine, and
yeah, I agree.
It looked cool, but it wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, it seemed like it should have been part of an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
It had that kind of a feel to it, and you could have totally got rid of that, and then the movie would have been the exact same.
Now, I mean, right from there, we get the introduction of our two of our heroes with Dr. Alan Grant. I mean, seeing him, because I watched this, I did my rewatch after I already saw the news. So even just seeing him pop up on screen, I kind of got chills. And this whole opening scene with him with the kid, when I was a kid, terrified me.
Oh, yeah.
Just the idea of it.
Really?
I was, oh my God, yes.
It never, that part never got to me.
I hate that fucking kid. He's so annoying.
That's why I could never feel anything other than just hatred for the kid, because he just has kind of face that you want to hit. He looks like a bully. He looks like a classic bully type character. And where's his parents? Where's the kid come from?
So I've always wondered that. The only thing I can think of is, so they're clearly down there in Montana doing a paleontological dig, and typically they're probably going to be there for a couple years. So I'm assuming they have teams of people who are there for weeks or months at a time. This kid's parents must just be part of the team. That's the only explanation that I could come up with.
One can only assume.
Because it's not like they're in the middle of the desert. It's not like he could have lived nearby and just stumbled upon it while he was out walking.
He just walked up to it and I don't know. You know what the fan theory is? The bullshit fan theory?
No.
That doesn't make sense. That the character from Jurassic Park, Chris Pratt's character, is that
kid.
Is
that kid? Yeah, no, fuck that.
Because the raptor claw, and he's the raptor trainer.
No, fuck that shit.
No, what the hell? I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it then when I first read it.
Now, what I did believe when I was a child is, and I tried to do this with my dad's stuff, I did believe that Barbasol cans had a fucking internal. I tried to unscrew so many of my dad's.
Oh, for real?
Oh my God.
I can't look at that brand and not immediately think of that, of being able to twist it, and just Jurassic Park in general.
It's one of the best product placements of all time.
Besides their own stuff, which is interesting.
I did love that when you see it later, and it's that's just all the Jurassic Park merch that 2 weeks later was getting shipped out to Kmart and Walmart and Target.
Hell yeah. And
my dad used Barbasol when I was a kid.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And I can't tell you how many times I would go into the bathroom and just see it sitting on the counter, and I'd pick it up and try and unscrew the bottom.
Where is it? Where's the dino DNA, man?
And I never found one.
Bullshit. That'd be a cool thing to have, even though, I want to start doing a prop collection of movie prop items, and that would be cool.
That would be awesome to have.
Absolutely. With the actual little container thing, with the actual little.
I wonder if you can find some crazy store on Etsy that somebody makes those.
I wouldn't doubt it. Absolutely, I would not. They do. famously make a lot of props for movies.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know that's one of them.
So
But
at
I
this
would totally
point,
get it.
at
I would
this
get
point,
that and another thing. I'd get another thing, but we'll
from this
bring it up when
movie,
we get there. Yeah.
the pile of shit.
The dino shit. Hell yeah. But no, it happens at the one of my favorite, I think my favorite scene, and most people's probably favorite scene.
Okay, I have a guess, but I'll wait.
Yeah.
So at this point, we've basically been introduced to almost all of our characters. I kind of skipped over the John Hammond barging into their dig site with a fucking helicopter.
Right?
The one thing you
Put up
don't
their
want at an
fucking
archaeological
expensive-
dig.
Is like a helicopter.
They're sitting there working days upon days of meticulously taking dirt off of this skeleton, and this guy just comes in with a helicopter and fucks it all up.
Right? Could have ruined. Luckily, he didn't ruin it, but then they probably wouldn't have been on board with whatever he was offering if he did. And I like how he does barge into their his little workspace there, trailer, and starts drinking opens their expensive, is that champagne or something?
Yeah.
I don't think
we were, but I do like we were saving that. And he goes, for this, I guarantee it. I love Richard Attenborough's voice.
Who the fuck is this guy? Wait a minute. No. Dr. Alan Grant was way too calm in that situation. I would have been heated on the moment until I accepted the position, or like.
Well, that's why I love when Ellie comes bursting in and she's like, all right, who's the jerk? And she's so pissed. And then Alan just goes, this is John Hammond, the man who funds our dig. And she flips on a dime and she's like, oh, what a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. But still, man, you didn't have to drink my bottle of champagne, bro.
No.
But yeah, I get it. He feels like he runs the place. He kind of does.
Well, he does, and he tells them that I want you to come and see this, but he won't tell them what it is, which I really, really like. That neither Alan nor Ellie have any idea what they're going to. He just tells them that it's a kind of wildlife preserve. So when you do get the reactions later, not only is it genuine of what they're seeing, but it's also just the sheer awe because they didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, and then just go alt-right. Explain himself.
Yeah, and I mean, so we get the helicopter ride in, the Jeeps with the logo, and I mean, this next scene, there are almost no words that can describe the perfection that is this scene of the reveal when Alan stands up, pulls the glasses off. It's one of the best surprise reveal looks, I think, in quite possibly film history. And then just turning Ellie's head like, you need to see this. And what I love about this is, so these dinosaurs are all CGI. Yeah, so you really have to look at how great both Sam Neill and Laura Dern do in this scene in terms of acting, because they're really not seeing anything, but just the looks on their faces conveys exactly what the CGI tells us is there. Like, I would believe, like, when I was a kid, I believed this. I mean, I fucking believe this was real. That's how incredible these scenes look.
And I'm pretty positive Laura Dern was hired just based off of how she reacts to things. Because cinematically, it's very, it's a little over the top, but it works.
Yeah.
She pulls it off. And, yeah, man, on full display here when she has to pretend to see an animal that does not exist. And the reaction, it's definitely genuine.
Yeah, you get,
and you feel the magic at the time, because at the time, CG was a new thing, and this was
we
like
had
one
never
of the first.
Seen anything like this on screen.
No, not done in that way with a full CGI model, done so well too, and it blew so many people away. I heard people seeing that scene and they shedded some tears just because it was never seen before. And
I mean,
I think it was a moment that changed cinema history. If I'm being honest with you.
I mean, just the sheer magnificence of this scene with the music in the background, and it almost brings me to tears. I mean, it's such a moving thing, and for a movie that I've held so close, like to me, and it has meant so much to me. I mean, rewatching it, like I said, I was almost close to tears at this scene, and then you get. I can't imagine anybody else in the world other than Richard Attenborough saying "Welcome to Jurassic Park." I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we go into the tour of which. Here's where I have a little bit of a question. So when they go into this tour and you get the screen with John Hammond come out and he goes, "Oh, I have lines." Now, I get that this might be a little promo thing, but are you telling me that John Hammond is going to have to be in front of every single tour that this island gives because nobody else is going to be standing there? You can't clone another person to make it look like John Hammond. So it's like, is he going to be in there for every tour like just a regular park employee? Or are they going to change this whole setup?
They might change the whole setup, and that was just for them, but only one can assume, unless he's just going to be hanging out right there, doing that like he's making himself do that for hours and hours.
And I love when they go to the next scene and you can see the scientists and the three, Ian, Ellie, and Grant just fucking more or less break the ride because they're like, no, we have to see this in person.
Yeah.
And this is when we first get the questions of, how do you guys do this? Well, we used a frog's DNA. We made sure that all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are female because we simply deny them a chromosome at a base level. They're doing gene splicing and gene therapy, which has always been a touchy dino DNA. Yeah, it's always been a touchy subject.
Yeah, and like I always thought, okay, this is how you would do it in real life.
I thought it was possible.
That's how it's done. I thought that was a scientific fact until you realize, fuck no, that's not how they would ever clone something. That's not how it works. Dang.
No.
She was lied.
No. And I do like that through this, while they're watching a baby raptor hatch, and you've got Ian Malcolm talking with Dr. Wu about, and they're kind of doing like interspersal exposition while everything's going on. Because he's explaining all these things of how they control the population, and he's like, well, how do you know that they're all female? Like, and this is when we get the famous "life finds a way" quote, because he's right. These species, and as they say later, like they don't know what decade they're in. They don't know what millennium they're in. Everything is completely different from what their instincts tell them that they should be. And as Ellie says later, they will lash out violently if needed. Like, it's
because if you're splicing different DNA, you're technically making a dinosaur because you're filling in gaps, but essentially you're making like a new thing.
That exactly. Which there are all kinds of different issues that paleontologists have with this movie, and I get, but it kind of skirt.
And I feel like,
well, technically, none of these are actually dinosaurs because they use the DNA of a frog. So technically, there's something new entirely. But when we go,
maybe if you hadn't have used the DNA of a frog species, one particular species can
change sex. Yeah,
change sex. You didn't really take that into account. Then maybe life wouldn't have found a way. Then we wouldn't have had a movie. I'll take it.
Yeah, and they go, I mean, from there, they're still outraged, but they go from there to the raptor pen, and still, you don't get to see them. This is more like you kind of said with the Jaws thing. You don't get to see them, but you sure as shit get to hear them and see the aftermath of this bull that they're fed for lunch.
Yeah, because it tears up the whole goddamn, the harness that it was attached to and everything.
And so this is when we really get Robert Muldoon, the game warden. And the stuff that he says about the raptors, I'm sitting there going, kill them all. Why did you even make these creatures?
That's what I'm saying.
Because
as a kid, I'm like, why'd you make these?
Well, he's like,
why'd you make these ones? I get it, they're badass. and they carry most of the marketing. So many freaking things with raptor eyes and shit.
But here,
So I get it.
but the thing with these is he tells them there were originally 8, and then we brought in the female, and she killed all but 2 of them. And then they started systematically attacking the fence, trying to find weak points. Dude, these guys, no. Kill them all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's terrifying. And then he says that they can get up to cheetah speed, like 60 miles an hour if they were ever to get out in the open. Good God.
Yeah, he was hyping them up for sure. And they did not disappoint when they're finally showing.
No, I love when they go to lunch and the only person who's on Hammond's side is the lawyer, and all of them are telling him, like, this is a mistake, John. Like, this is not a good idea. We get probably one of my favorite lines in the movie, and it's Ian Malcolm when he says to him that your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they never stopped to think if they should. Because it brings in the whole ethics question. Like, just because you can make these dinosaurs doesn't mean you should. As he says, Mother Nature selected dinosaurs for extinction for a reason. They had their chance. Like, why are... And I would even go as far as saying, like, if you're going to do this, don't bring back... As cool as the big ones are, don't bring back the carnivores. Why are you going to put people in danger? And even...
Yeah. And I'm glad everyone... Yeah, go ahead.
Also, even Ian Malcolm says to him, John Hammond's like, when Disneyland opened, they had all these different, I think he says it later, but he says they had all these different problems. And he goes, yes, but John, if Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. It's a whole different level of danger.
Yeah. 100%. On a level nobody would ever expect. But even more than expect should hit the fan as much as it did.
Well, it wouldn't have if it wasn't for fucking Newman.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a great cast of characters because the moment he's on screen, he utters a word you dislike. I mean,
Dodson, we got Dodson here.
And his motivations are very shallow and very scummy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about money. Like, I can understand the park was open and it was thriving, but be understandable when you're trying to open a park, a business that maybe you're not going to be paid as much as you feel like you're owed. But he didn't care. He's willing to do whatever is necessary for money.
No, and that's what he says to Dodson. He's in the beginning. He says, "Don't get cheap on me." That was Hammond's mistake. And of course, in this control room, we get Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker, as his name. I love it's just Mr. Arnold. Like, there's no first name. There's no.
Well, he gonna be around. We don't need to get into all that.
He's just Mr. Arnold in charge of. Well, it seems like he's in charge of everything but the park, except for what Nedry does. And they're overseeing this tour that they're going to be going on. We've been introduced to John Hammond's grandchildren, Lex and Tim, who I like Joseph Mazzello as an actor. I like the stuff that he did in his later years in things like The Social Network and Bohemian Rhapsody, but he is so annoying in this movie, and I have hated Lex since I was a little kid. I've never liked her character.
I didn't like them growing up, but my latest rewatch, I did not mind them.
If I was Alan, I would have left them.
No, yeah, at the beginning.
No,
at the beginning, I can understand. They annoyed me too with a lot of the decision making, but towards the end, ultimately, they won me over.
I've always disliked Lex. And her constant, I'm a hacker crap, shut up.
Oh, yeah. That was a little crazy. But hey, they had to give her something to say, some character trait.
I get it, but I don't know. I've never liked her. She's just always kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I can understand. She did for me for a while. I think she softened on me over the years with my many rewatchers. They don't bother me as much anymore.
Now, I do want to ask you, imagine being Alan Grant or Ellie or whatever, you've spent your whole life studying. So we find out Ellie's a paleobotanist, which she knows a lot more about dinosaurs than I would give her credit for being a paleobotanist. But so her and Alan have been studying these things their entire lives. And you finally get this thing, like you're going to go on this tour, you're going to see all these different species, and you go to the first two paddocks and you get to see nothing. Like, I would be so let down and just like kind of pissed off at the world. I'd be so furious.
What do you mean?
Well, like, so first they go to the Dilophosaurus. They're nowhere to be found. They go to the Tyrannosaurus paddock. She is nowhere to be found.
Okay.
Even when they try and present like the goat, like it's something that's like you've waited your whole life thinking you're never actually going to be able to see one of these things, and now you have the opportunity to see it, and they just don't show up. And I can understand because you're dealing with, if this were real, you're dealing with live animals. It's like going to a zoo and the lions being asleep. Like,
exactly.
It's kind of the same thing. It's not what you expect to see or want to see, but it's just the reality of sometimes that's just how it works.
Yeah, you get lucky. Sometimes you don't.
Well, they get lucky with this Triceratops because, I mean, you want to talk magical scene. Now this thing is a puppet.
It's a magical scene with the passed out ass.
We haven't gotten to the pile of shit yet.
Okay.
But what's funny is, so I've watched several documentaries about Jurassic Park and that. One of them I would recommend for all of our listeners is not just specifically
on like the making of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them is not specifically just on this, but if you have Disney Plus, check out the documentary series Light and Magic. It's about ILM, and the last episode of the first season, the majority of it is about Jurassic Park. It's extremely interesting. And I've watched a lot of things about how they made these movies, and I know with this Triceratops, for example, when it breathes, it's literally people underneath it pushing up on this, like where the rib cage would be, I guess, on the Triceratops. But even the way, I don't know, it's just something about this movie, the way it's shot, the way it's done, I completely forget about all that behind the scenes stuff. And in my mind, I'm looking at a real Triceratops.
Yeah.
It's wild the way your brain kind of does stuff like that when it's done really the right way.
Well, that's just the magic of practical done in the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, because you can see them physically touching this thing.
Yeah, and you're able to immerse yourself way more if it was CG because they're actually interacting with said thing.
And I mean, I'm Grant says Triceratops was his favorite as a kid. Wasn't my favorite, but it was definitely probably a top three.
Triceratops, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I like the little slide chart, like in what was it?
The which one?
Land Before Time. Thinking of the Land Before Time.
Sarah?
Yeah. The Triceratops. They call her
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah. And then
Sarah, Littlefoot,
Billy,
Ducky, Petrie, and Spike, I think, is all of them.
Sounds cool, right?
Yeah, that was a real good movie to watch when we were kids. I don't think
Triceratops is always like one of the more predominant or used more when it comes to the species like dinos.
It just looks cool with like that shield, like that shielded head with the three horns. It just looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a good design. Even though it once was an animal, it was a good design, or at least for when it comes to showcasing dinosaurs in things. It's a good one to use.
And while they're out checking on this, we find out that, surprise, surprise, there's a hurricane headed their way. Why are hurricanes so predominant in so many of these types of movies?
Because it's a way to
cut them off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because what they
Just for
do
narrative's
is
sake.
they're basically told that they're going to have to more or less evacuate because the storm is coming, so they have to get back in the cars, and Ellie says, I'm going to stay here with the doctor and finish with the trike. So, of course, she separates from everybody, which, again, is a very typical creature movie, horror movie kind of trope, because, in essence, parts of this movie are like a legit horror film, and we're going to be coming to that in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, they obviously do still have some of those tropes, and this is one of them where she stays behind. They go back, and of course, when does the power go out? Right when they're in front of the Tyrannosaurus Rex paddock. And while this is going on, Nedry, this is the time that Nedry has built, he can go in and steal the embryos in that sweet-ass Barbasol can.
My thing is, was it necessary to do it right then and there? Couldn't you have called it off a day? Call it off in better weather, bro. Why would you do all this in the middle of a hurricane?
Because he's desperate, and like that's the whole thing with him is he's desperate to get this money from, I forget the name of the company that Dodgson works for, and he has to be on.
I wish we would have gotten a little bit more into that motivation, because I feel like the character would have just called it off and waited another day. But I mean, it is what it is, and I'll accept it. But I feel like there's a little bit of a hole there. Unless it was explained.
I think they just say that he needs the money, and he's just like, when it comes to that, he's just got a one-track mind of, I have to get this done today because I have to get off the island, yada yada. And I don't know if maybe he kind of realizes that if I shut things down even for 18 minutes, because what ends up happening is not only does he shut down things like the phones and the communications, but all the different paddocks of the animals, all of their electric fences get shut down. So he might have like assumed that something was going to go awry, and all he cares about is getting his money and kind of leaving.
Right? So he expected that they wouldn't have any power and potentially the dinosaurs would get loose. Maybe,
and I mean, if he had thought of that, it clearly doesn't seem like he cares.
No, absolutely not. Which is, it's just adds to the villainy of the character.
Now, this is where we
would have had a little bit more. We would have a little bit added more meat to that, because they could have added a little bit more meat to the bone, to the character, to his motivation there, and I just feel like it was a little shallow in that part.
Well,
but
I will say
I
this:
do like what the actor and what was given to him.
I know that this is based on a book. I own it. I own the book. I just haven't gotten around to actually reading it.
Yeah, it's like an author who's done like Westworld.
Yeah, it's Michael Crichton.
Other similar, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if maybe the Nedry, number one, I don't even know if the Nedry character's in the book, but if he is, maybe there's some more kind of fleshed out stuff with him in the book that kind of would explain that. But yeah, I think it's just the fact that all he's concerned about is getting this done as quickly as possible, getting off the island, getting his money, and just kind of disappearing type thing, regardless of who gets hurt or killed.
Right? He wasn't thinking about any repercussions or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It could be that too.
Yeah. I get you don't have enough time to explore that, but I wish we would have got a little bit more to truly understand the dumb decisions that he makes.
They should have cut out all the kid shit and dealt with the Nedry stuff.
No, I wanted more kid shenanigans. No, I'm joking.
I mean, that's probably who we identified with when we were kids. But so this, when they've now, like I said, stopped outside the T-Rex paddock, and this, if you thought the reveal earlier of the Brachiosaurus and all the other animals in the water was something, this reveal is what this movie is built on.
The meat eaters.
First, you just get the thump, the noise. Then we get the ripples in the water. Then we get
the most. I think it's probably one of the most iconic moments in cinematic history, because that is a thing that is still used today when showing a large creature approaching an area. They'll have the ripples in the water. I don't know if it originated here, but it definitely popularized it.
Yeah,
Where it's
absolutely.
still used almost 30, what, yeah, like freaking decades and decades later.
Yeah. Yeah, we get, so like I said, we get the water ripples. We get Gennaro, the lawyer, looking in the mirror, and the mirror shakes, which ironically, Steven Spielberg discovered that when in his car listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire on like full blast, and his mirror started to shake, and he went, that'd be a really good element to the T Rex scene. Like his mirror was shaking because he was jamming out to good music, but if that's shaking for a reason that a predator's approaching, it's terrifying.
Yeah,
And
that's an experience that we've never even. It's
I
like a
don't want
new
to have.
fear unlocked.
I don't want to have that experience.
Yeah, but it definitely unlocked a new fear. Like if we ever hear that, that'll definitely we'll know we're in immediate.
Yeah, and I like that the first shot you see aside from when the goat disappears is you just see that one hand with the claws over top of the lines in the fence, and then all of the lines come out of the fence, and the T-Rex steps over. So hold on, the T-Rex steps out of his paddock where there is no moat, but that moat will appear in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and just the sound design alone, the fence being ripped off. I think everything about that scene, from just the way it's directed down to, like I said, the sound choice, excellent, and pulls you right in. One thing about this movie, it's one of the very immersive movies I've ever experienced. Almost every scene, as soon as this T-Rex is introduced, you're right into it, and you are pretty much nonstop tensed up the entire movie until the end.
Yeah, and I mean, like right off the bat, this scene he's in between the two vehicles, and you don't know right off the bat which way he's going to go. Gennaro has already ran. He's left the kids. He ran into the bathroom. But then this stupid fucking Lex has a gigantic industrial powered flashlight.
Oh yeah, god damn!
Like
yeah,
that's just common sense. If you don't want to draw an animal to you, don't like shine lights.
Especially a giant super flashlight like they're doing.
And a lot of the T-Rex in this is the practical one. They do have some of the CGI interspersed with it, and I've read a lot of stories and watched a lot of videos about how this animatronic T-Rex was beyond terrifying, even on set, because what ended up happening is when it would get wet, it would all get like waterlogged and so heavy that it would randomly just turn on. It was almost like it had built up energy in the joints, and when they turned off the power, it would release them. So like randomly they would be sitting like having lunch, and the T-Rex's head would just move on its own. And I guess there were actual members of like the crew that were screaming terrified, not knowing what was going on with this thing, and they later realized that it was from the rain. But I will say, if there was the rain adds to this scene, like the vision that Spielberg had for this with the rain, I don't think you could have done it any other way. It just makes it so much more visceral, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't have had as strong of an effect if it wasn't for the rain.
And you know what wouldn't have had as strong of an effect? That T-Rex's mouth coming through the ceiling of that car. If that would have been CGI, I'm going to say it right now, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
Because that thing actually impacts that car. Like you can see it hit that roof and break through into the kids or the stunt people.
CG wasn't there yet to be able to pull something like that off. So I'm glad they didn't even attempt it, and they just went practical. Because it gives something the kid actors to act off of.
Yeah.
Which brings out a much better performance every single time.
Yeah, in this we get so he decimates this car, but we do get some CGI of the T-Rex interspersed with the animatronic, and I can't spot the seams. I think it's pretty damn flawless in terms of the technological joining of these two things. And right off the bat, obviously Alan wants to try and help the kids, and he knows in the movie that T-Rex vision is based on movement. That's been debunked by scientists. That's not true. So his idea is to get out with a flare and then just throw the flare into the jungle, knowing the T-Rex will follow the flare, and then he can probably go save the kids. Unfortunately, Ian doesn't know this and gets out with a flare of his own and just starts running. And of course,
he had to be the hero. He had to be the hero in that moment. Boy, sit your ass down. You didn't know nothing about dinosaurs. Clearly, Dr. Grant had it under control.
Well, this is another thing that randomly pops into my head from this movie from time to time is just Sam Neill yelling, "Ian, freeze!"
Yeah. The way he says it was
it's so good.
It's a guttural. It's like from the pit of his stomach when he says it.
Well, you believe that he's terrified.
Like because he wanted to say, "You dumb motherfucker, why would you do that shit?" But he had no time. So he had to say it in the emphasis of his freeze.
But he could have just said, "Ian, throw the flare and then freeze." Because if Ian's still holding the flare and frozen, the T-Rex can still see the flare. Ow. Sorry.
He didn't think at the moment. He didn't think of that at the moment. Ian just I don't know. He decided he was going to play the hero.
Sure. Now, when it comes to the book, there are a few things I do know. I'm pretty sure this is the scene. So in the book, Ian Malcolm dies. Spoiler alert.
In the book?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Which when we get to the scene, but the problem was, now this is a little off topic at the moment, but the problem was when they went to make a sequel, they wanted to make the main character Ian Malcolm. Well, when they said they wanted Michael Crichton to write a novel to be a sequel to Jurassic Park, and he said, "Well, Ian Malcolm dies in the first one, so I don't know how he does it, but for some miraculous way, it's like." It's not that he's brought back to life, but I think there's something in the second book of like, oh yeah, the doctor saved him or some shit where in the first book it clearly states that he died.
How did he die in the book?
I honestly don't know. I've always assumed that this is the scene in the book where he does die.
He also gets eaten by.
Either gets eaten or has some kind of injury that he can't live through, or I don't know. Because I think when Ellie and Muldoon find him, they say that he's tied a tourniquet on his leg. So I don't know. Maybe he severed an artery or something and just bled out. I don't know.
I want to know how he got so messed up in the movie, because it didn't seem like he would have been so messed up. Just the way it was shot.
I think the dinosaur just like hit him and he went through. Him. Yeah,
he scooped through him, and then I think it was just the damage from the bat, like that building that he got ran into.
All of that wood shit cut him up. His trauma is in his leg.
Yeah, it had to have been done by the building, not necessarily the dinosaur, because it didn't like he did him. He just hit him on his nose, launched him. Well, but went back and replayed it. I'm like, how did he get so fucked up?
Yeah,
in that way, just the way it's shot was kind of funny.
Well, a little bit later in the movie, I've still never figured out how Ellie hurts her leg when she starts limping.
There must have been some stuff they left at the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I don't know. But speaking of launching, he launches Ian into the bathroom. Then the T-Rex eats Gennaro, and then Lex is able to get out of the car, which then we get the iconic shot of her and Sam Neill with the foot coming down in the foreground and they're in the background. And they climb over the wall into this moat that suddenly has appeared that wasn't there a few minutes ago when the T-Rex climbed out of the paddock.
It's raining so much that it created
Nope.
One,
Nope.
you didn't see it.
Nope.
You didn't see it because of the way the camera was.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying?
No, so they go down and the T-Rex basically just throws the car with Timmy in it into a tree, and then it just saunters away. And Alan has to go climb up this tree to save Tim. And this is a tension-filled scene where they're basically racing the car as it's breaking branches down the tree.
I love how when he opens up the car and the kid is just, he's done. Like he's fucking, he's just chilling. There's no emotion. He's trying to tell he's already over it. I mean, I'm glad he's not crying. That's what I'm saying. Like they could have made the kid way more annoying. He could have been crying and been a little.
I don't dislike Tim. I don't dislike Tim nearly as much as I dislike Lex. But you're right. Like all he does, he opens the door and Tim just goes, "I threw up." And it's like, yep, totally justified.
Yeah, and then this is we're talking about when we're stuck in the tree, like the car's stuck in the tree.
Yeah.
I just think that was the appropriate choice because we all kind of feel like how that kid would. I think that would have been a normal person's reaction after going through something like that. It's just more silence than anything.
You're just in shock at that point.
Yeah, understandable. I think everyone would have been in shock, even Dr. Grant. It was a real life situation.
Well, he kind of is in shock, but he's trying to hold it together for the kids.
Yeah, that's true.
So while this is all happening, Ellie is back at the visitor center with Hammond and Muldoon and Mr. Arnold. And her and Muldoon go out to try and rescue Alan and the kids, and all they find is Ian Malcolm and what they say is like bits of Gennaro. And here's where we get Jeff Goldblum's "must go faster" line as they're driving away from the T-Rex as it's chasing them, which this was all CGI with the T-Rex. Yeah. And I think it looks fantastic.
It looks okay for the time.
I mean, there are things they make nowadays that don't look half as good. So,
yeah, I'd say so. It just depends on the person seeing it. But it looks good enough. It looks definitely good enough, and still like very, very impressive. The movie's 30 plus years old.
Yeah, when they get back to the visitor center, you don't see Ian for a little bit. He's kind of off resting. And there's a very poignant scene between Hammond and Ellie as they're sitting in what looks like the cafeteria. And he goes in to talk about this flea circus that he had when it was his first attraction. And Ellie says to him, like, you don't get it. Like, this is still the flea circus. None of this is real. Like, you've manufactured all of this. These aren't animals that exist in our world. They shouldn't be here. There's all this stuff, which I don't necessarily like these scenes because they kind of make John Hammond a very sympathetic figure, which I'm sorry he shouldn't be, because even all of this is happening and he's still talking about, well, next time when we do, no, not next time. 2 people have died. Your grandchildren are out there. God knows what's happening to them. You're already thinking ahead of next time.
Yeah. But I don't think he's doing it in a way of like looking at it like trying to get profits or anything. I think he has a dream and a vision of bringing these creatures to life and letting the rest of the world share the same feelings he has for these creatures, for these dinosaurs.
I get it, but there are some
it's
dreams.
Very naive. Oh, of course, it's very naive.
There are some dreams that don't have to come true.
No, absolutely. It's very naive, and he's very. He doesn't really look at the implications of doing that. But I do sympathize for him just, having a dream and being strongly for it, and then it going completely opposite direction that he intended. But his heart was in it. His intentions were good, and it's just. That in that way, I sympathize with him.
I mean, I get, and I think that's what they're going for with this.
I think in the books he wasn't as good. Like he wasn't.
In the books, he's like an evil son of a bitch.
Yeah. So I'm glad they kind of gave him some humanity to it, but I don't know. Maybe that's something that would have added to the movie or would have taken away if they they would have portrayed him in the way the book does. I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and
That's how it works in the books.
yeah, I really do want to read it. I'm going to eventually, but it's on my
Does
list.
he have nieces? Yeah, 'cause I want to know. Are the nieces, the niece and nephew, are they characters from the movies or from the books?
I think his grandkids are in the book. I do not know for sure. Don't quote me on that.
Interesting.
But yeah, and during this, so Ellie back at home base or the visitor center,
grandkids.
they realize that they have to reset everything in the park, and in order to do that, there's a maintenance shed. I forget how far they say away. And Mr. Arnold, Sam Jackson, is like, I'll go do it because I know how to do it. Unfortunately, when he leaves, they don't say how long it's been, but they're like, he's been gone for too long, so Ellie is going to go with Muldoon to kind of help him / possibly have to rescue him. And so they go out, and almost within seconds, Muldoon is like, we're being hunted. So you better run. And he just goes into like big game hunter mode, pulls out his rifle, and Ellie just takes off for a run towards the shed.
I like how he tells her to run, and she immediately is like, she understands the assignment. She starts to sprint, but just before she gets her momentum, I think this was the blooper that they kept in, because she like runs into something and like knocks herself down before she picks herself up over whatever log or something, and then she starts running.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It had they probably kept it in because it felt very authentic.
Yeah.
It just added to the scene. But yeah, it definitely was a blooper. I don't think she was meant to fall the way she did.
Well, so she gets in, goes down. She finally, thanks to Ian for helping her actually get to the right spot, because John's trying to read this schematic and he can't seem to figure it out because he keeps leading her to dead ends. And she finally gets to the end. She's able to turn the power back on. And then we get this jump scare of this raptor that apparently was hiding behind the panel the whole time.
He was waiting. He was waiting for the lights to come on.
But what's even crazier is
smart as a bitch.
What's even crazier is, so when she's finally turning everything on, we've got Alan, Lex, and Tim climbing over the perimeter fence. And of course, the tension's building because Ellie's turning on all these different systems, and the perimeter fence is at the very bottom. And as she's going down, they're saying, okay, Tim, the sirens are going off. You got to jump. I'll catch you, this, that, and the other thing. And of course, he doesn't. So he gets fucking shot off this thing like a rocket. And Alan
I don't think that's what would have happened. I'm pretty sure he would have stuck on.
Yeah, I think he would have stayed there, and he would have been fucking fried to a crisp.
But we'll go movie physics on this one.
But they can't kill a child.
No, not at all.
So he comes down, and Alan's able to give him CPR, and he's able to survive. But yeah, like I said, we get this jump scare of this raptor, and Ellie gets away, and then she just feels a hand on an arm on her shoulder, and oh, Mr. Arnold, thank God. Nope, just his arm. Sam Jackson is dead. Killed off screen. What do you think's better, that fate or his Deep Blue Sea fate?
I like to think he survived the attack.
Shut up.
Much like how he survived being thrown out of the window in Star Wars Return of the Sith. In my head canon, he lived, and he's going to be in the next Jurassic Park.
The 8th movie?
Yep.
The return of Mr. Arnold?
Yep.
He's just like one arm looks like fucking Rambo.
Don't get his revenge. I'd watch the shit out of that movie. But no, yeah, he's dead as fuck.
Yeah. He's gone. We get Alan and the kids get back to the visitor center, and of course the first thing the kids want to do is eat. And Timmy goes over. I love that he has the little, the scoopers to take a piece of cake, and he's like, fuck this, and takes the whole damn thing.
Hell yeah. See all that food, no one's going to miss it. No one's going to be there to eat it. Got a whole buffet. I've been digging it.
You've got all this food, and fucking Lex picks Jello.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm appreciative that she did because of how great it is in the scene when she just This is the only part of her that I enjoyed, when she's like shaking the Jello. It's such a big important scene.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Maybe, but of course, the Raptors are in the building, and they have to go. The whole kitchen scene is such a cool cat and mouse scene with the kids and the Raptors, and be grateful for ILM and the CGI, because Phil Tippett, who is a special effects guy, he's very famous for stop motion. He was originally going to do this whole scene with stop motion raptors, and I've seen the footage of it, and oh man.
Yeah, I can picture that in my head. Because I've seen movies with stop motion. No, yeah. You've just been laughing.
Yeah, it would have taken you right out of it.
No, you would not have taken it seriously at all.
But yeah, they get the raptors here. They lock one in the freezer. Another one fucking knocks itself almost unconscious because of the illusion of reflection, which dinosaurs don't know about.
No, but we didn't know that was a reflection.
No, I didn't either the first time I saw it.
And Steven Spielberg gets away with these like last minute saves or these like convenient things that happen within the scene so that the characters can continue to live and not be attacked or survive the ordeal.
Yeah, it's
but you're so immersed. But he definitely spans it. But the way he structures the scenes and with the tension and the score, you're so into it. You are completely immersed within the story that you allow it.
I can't imagine another director doing this movie.
This one in particular.
And what's amazing, what he did is this same year, and for 93, he had both this and Schindler's List come out. And when he was in Poland doing Schindler's List, what they would finish filming, and he would go in, and at night he would help edit Jurassic Park from Poland. And he said it was one of the only things that kept him sane on that set, was being able to kind of escape that world and go back into this fantastical world of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I mean, what he accomplished in 93 is nothing short of incredible.
He's done it a couple times. He's directed movies basically back to back.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's something that I don't think any director has done so successfully. I don't think that it's a feat that I don't think it will ever happen again.
No, I don't either.
Today's world, I don't think that you can see that happening.
No.
And it's why I consider Steven Spielberg the greatest director of all time.
I agree.
For a feat like that, that's just one notch on his belt of achievements that I think only he can do.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the absolute best director of all time as well.
He's still making them. Still making hits.
Yeah, absolutely he is. But back to this is where we start to get a little long-winded for me, in my opinion, when they catch back up with Grant and Ellie, and then they're sneaking through the air ducts, and the Raptors are chasing, and so on and so forth. And they get back into the controls room, and this is where we get Lex. Oh, I'm a hacker. And it just pops up, and she goes, oh, I know this system. You didn't do any hacking. You opened fucking files. That is not hacking.
Right? You understood the software, so you knew how to...
No computer has ever had software like this. This is the worst,
I mean, it's very early on. There wasn't a whole lot of options.
I still don't think anything like this ever existed.
That particular, just the way they showed it, sure. But I think, do you remember the name?
It's a Unix system.
Is that sounds familiar? I could be wrong.
No, but I mean the way that they portray it on the screen.
Yeah, that's definitely not. No, that's like a video game.
Yeah.
And it was definitely impractical because look at how fucking slow it was going to get to the fucking individual section of the park,
Yeah.
and then that shit took all day. Like,
Well, and all of a sudden, she makes one click on the mouse, the door's locked to keep the raptors out, but then all of a sudden the camera goes back to her and she's like, we're up and running, people. We got everything. We got phones. We got the fences are up. We've got all of it. And so they say, well, we're going to call the helicopter and get us the fuck off this island, basically. And there's one more action sequence as they run out into the main room where they've got these...
Yeah, the definitive ending action sequence that they put in almost every goddamn Jurassic Park movie since.
But this is the best one.
Oh yeah,
we get them going out, and
maybe
the two raptors are still there. And now this was one of the parts that I think is the least plausible in a movie about cloning dinosaurs. How does this T-Rex sneak up on them?
Especially when it established early on in this movie that when he walks creates fucking shockwaves miles away.
And how did he get into the building?
Must be a big ass hole somewhere in that motherfucker.
But he makes quick work of these two raptors. We get the skeletons of the dinosaurs, the fossils falling down, and the iconic T-Rex roar as the banister drops just in perfect frame when dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Yeah, it's like iconic shot.
And when
thank God for the out of nowhere surprise MVP, the goddamn T-Rex, coming at the literal perfect moment.
Yep.
Where that family would definitely have been eaten alive by some hungry ass raptor.
And then out of nowhere, they come out the front door and John Hammond just pulls up like a fucking cab right in front of him. And they're like, all right, hop in, let's go. And Alan just says to him, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. And Hammond goes, so have I.
All right. Yeah, of course. You just got your family fucking killed by him. And you've gotten people murdered. You got a lot of blood in your hands, man. You gonna go to jail.
He should.
You gonna go to jail, bruh.
No, and then they get back on the helicopter and they're off the island, and that's the movie. Before we do anything else, we haven't really talked about it. The score of this movie, in my opinion, is one of the greatest all-around scores. One of the best instrumental theme songs that I've ever heard. Obviously composed by the great John Williams. And I feel that it was... Now, he won the Academy Award that year for Schindler's List, but I feel that it was a crime that this didn't also get nominated for an Academy Award. I mean, if you want to talk iconic movie soundtracks and themes, I would have to say this is top 5. If you play this song for 100 people, I would guess that 95 of them will know exactly what it is. And
they use it in every Jurassic Park movie, right?
It's my favorite part of Jurassic World when they open the fucking doors in their room and they just play the song.
Yeah, it gets you every time.
I've listened to this song, like this main theme, so many times just randomly throughout my life that it just puts the biggest smile on my face.
Yeah, pure concentrated nostalgia. The moment those notes enter your ears.
And it always seems to be John Williams. And I mean, discussing Spielberg movies, we're probably going to be talking about John Williams for the next few episodes as well.
Oh yeah, they don't do a project without each other.
But that brings us to the end of Jurassic Park. If there's nothing else you wanted to touch on, we can move down to our categories, which I I think we can I didn't have anybody in terms of for recasting for Trading Faces. I have nobody who I would recast in this movie. I think it was top to bottom perfectly cast, even down to like BD Wong as Dr. Wu. I think it was fantastic.
I could see like, and I don't know why he's not in more things, but he's awesome. I could see like a Viggo Mortensen doing at least a good as job as Alan. Or sorry,
I don't know where he
Niell.
was in his career at this time.
I think he was still a little bit younger, so I don't think he was in the right age group of what they were aiming for the character. But he could have been. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he would have been a nice.
I mean, that's an interesting one. I also
But
think that
I'm just thinking of like characters that could have, if they were of that age.
you probably could have had Michael Douglas.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that time, the '90s.
Well, I mean, of that time, you could have probably had Michael Douglas. You probably could have had a Robert Redford. Oh my God, it's escaping me right. His name is escaping me right now.
Could have had
Paul Newman is what I was thinking.
Anthony
of.
Hopkins. I think he would maybe.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins could have done it. But yeah, I didn't really. I just didn't really put anything for that. What about for scene obsession? Your favorite scene. Now I know you said that there was a prop in your favorite scene that you wanted as well.
Oh yeah, those like night vision goggle things.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to go
Those
with.
things are cool as hell, even though it's just night vision goggles.
I like
The way they're designed.
Is it heavy? Yeah. Then they're expensive. Put them back. That's how my parents would have told me something. I know it's not as Tim's parent, but my parents would have been like, "Are they heavy? Then we're not paying for them. Leave them there."
Right? I'm glad. Yeah. Every time I see it.
Yeah,
I
my
think
favorite scene is
wish I would've had those.
absolutely the T-Rex in
Yeah.
the rain.
Yeah, it's hard for it not to be. Even those movies jam-packed with memorable, iconic moments and scenes. I think of those iconic scenes, that is the most iconic of them all.
What about for scene regression, your worst or least favorite scene? Anytime Lex is on screen?
Eating Jello. Eating
No,
Jell-O
I
on
think-
screen. I don't like Jello. I don't like Jello like that.
I think the whole part when they're in the tree with the Brachiosaurus and he's like, and Alan's like, think of it as a big cow. And she's, I like cows. I don't like that whole scene. I get that
Yeah.
it's cute. I get it's cute when
They're
you
trying
get
to bond.
Tim telling the joke, but I don't know. And it makes sense because you see Alan softening around having children. That's another thing. Now, do you look at Alan and Ellie as a couple?
I look at it as they probably. I don't think they had the conversation, but they definitely know that they have a thing for each other. And I think Ellie, because she knows that Dr. Grant isn't really into children, and she could tell she does. Like that's why things haven't progressed with them. But there's definitely feelings that they both have for each other, like romantic feelings.
See, I think even growing up, I didn't really put that, like, not that I didn't put it together, I just never bought into it. I don't know if it's there's just the age difference between Sam Neill and Laura Dern or what it was, but I've never really looked at them as a couple, even though apparently they're supposed to be. Yeah, I was just curious about that, and we hadn't discussed it, and I happened to remember that.
No, they didn't come across as like a couple, like in a relationship, but just two people who
Like there's something
definitely
there.
carried. There is something there. Like there are definitely feelings there. I just don't know in what.
Okay, I'll take that. That makes sense. What about for your quotable moment? What was your favorite quote from this movie?
I like hold on to your butts. I usually say that a lot. Dino DNA. And usually life finds a way. Usually my top three.
I think mine is life finds a way, or as I said it earlier, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. Because, like, that right there boils it all down. Like, you guys, like, you didn't think of the repercussions of what could possibly happen if you went down this road. And now it's too late. You can't go back and undo it.
Yeah, I like the fact that, he was like morally opposite of Dr. Hammond, and like their outfits kind of reflected that because he was wearing all black. Dr.
And
Hammond
Hammond's in all white.
white.
Speaking
I
of
don't know if it was
outfits,
intentional, but
have you ever heard about Nedry and his clothing paying homage to the Goonies?
I seen the meme of that. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty fun.
So yeah, you've got in the beginning he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, which is what Chunk wears in the Goonies. Then when he's in the control room, he's in a gray jacket, which is what Mouth wears. And then we didn't even get into his death, but he doesn't really matter. He dies. He's in a yellow raincoat, which is what Mikey wears through the whole Goonies movie.
Yeah, nice little homage to his own movie that you wouldn't really notice unless you were paying attention and you rewatched the movie a few times.
Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed had I not heard it or read it somewhere.
No, I never would have made that. Maybe one of the outfits, I would have been like, "Oh, that looks like that," but not everything that he's wearing.
What about for your standout performance? Who stole the movie with their performance?
I'd say Jeff Goldblum.
100% agree.
I think he's definitely he's got his own style of charm and charisma that just worked for the character. And if it hadn't have been for him nailing the role, they might have killed off his character. They might have went the way of the books.
Yeah.
They might have kept him just because it was Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, because he was already a decent star at this point.
He carried it
from his work in the 80s. But yeah, I think it was absolutely him. And in terms of chemistry check, I think it's not great chemistry, but I think the best chemistry of the movie is probably Ellie and Alan. Even though I disagree with it, but unless you want to go with the chemistry with Muldoon and the Raptor, with Clever Girl.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, they didn't even have to do that. And I feel like all the subtext of them having feelings for each other shouldn't even have been introduced. Either you're going to go all the way with it or nothing at all.
Yeah, and the only way they really even hint at it is at one point in the movie, Ian Malcolm is saying something about Ellie, and he says to Alan, like, "Oh, are you two?" And he just goes, "Yeah, we are." And it's like, that's all that's ever really actually said. But
are you together? They don't kiss. They don't even kiss when they reunite.
Is that him saying, "Are you together?" Or is that Alan Grant trying to protect, trying to protect Ellie because he keeps saying, like, "I'm always on the lookout for a future ex Mrs. Malcolm," and
I mean, maybe you can't tell. It's so vague that you can look like anything. You could spin it numerous ways.
Yeah. Now, of course, there are some scientific inaccuracies to these movies. Some of the famous ones are, now it's been discovered that most dinosaurs did have feathers of some kind on them.
I mean, he did say that in the beginning. He said they resemble birds more. He put that fact out.
They do. Also, I believe they also kind of hinted at this when the kid refers to the raptor skeleton on the TV as a turkey. So velociraptors actually were only about 3 feet tall and the size of turkeys. The dinosaur model... Yeah, the dinosaur model in the movie...
Looked like as big as fucking horses.
Well, the models that they use in the movie, they say they're about 6 feet tall and from head to tail about 9 to 10 feet long. Now, those dinosaurs are actually... Deinonychus is the species of that. However, when they made it, and I forget if it was Michael Crichton or Steven Spielberg, liked the name Velociraptor more, so he just called them raptors.
Sound more badass.
It does. And also, they've now learned that the Dilophosaurus that killed Nedry, they never actually had those hoods. They never spit venom.
Oh, for real?
Uh huh.
Come on, man.
You
All
want to know
right.
even? You want to know one even more
Ruin. Childhood ruin.
that I found that kind of made me sad. I
Oh,
even found an article that said they're pretty positive that dinosaurs didn't even roar.
they don't know that.
Again, it's all conjecture based on what they found, but yeah.
Damn it.
So
Yeah,
on
I mean,
that,
we wouldn't really know, to be honest.
no. But on that sour note that ruined all of our childhoods, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode, and we're going to move forward with final thoughts. Juan, this is your movie. You take it away.
Yeah, this movie, and what has not been said about this movie that hasn't been said already. This movie is a bona fide classic. One of my personal favorites of all time. When it comes to Spielberg, I'd say probably top two, maybe number one. I'd have to really go back and look through his movies, but it's up there for me. I think he combines a lot of his work from previous movies and brings it into this to perfect fashion. Takes a lot of the suspense from Jaws and a lot of the tension from moments of Indiana Jones, and you mix that with just groundbreaking visual effects, special effects, and just very memorable characters. And yeah, what he got was something very special. And I think even then, even the moment it came out, I don't know that we knew it was special. I think even through the filming that everyone knew that they had something special on it because it just feels that way. There's so much magic that accompanies this. Awesome. The actors are great. Nobody I really dislike. I know the kid actors are some of the
Terrible.
more disliked parts of the movie, but I think they did a good enough job. They did exactly what was told of them. I don't think any other kid actors would have done a better job. I think they did exactly what was needed and what was told of them. As well as the other actors, they all did a very fine job. The standout is Jeff Goldblum, just because he's able to display his charisma in such a way that you can't take your eyes off him when he's talking. Yeah, this is just a masterclass in filmmaking, and yeah, a lot of it boils down to the direction of the movie. Like everything is A plus across the board. But when I see this movie, I see it through the eye of the director, and I just see it through that lens. And yeah, you could just how it's structured, which isn't it's a very hard thing to do, just to put a movie together and to put it together in such a way that it is flawless, in my opinion. Uh, it's an achievement in itself. If this was his only movie, I still would have considered one of the greatest directors of all time. Um, yeah, I would totally recommend this movie if you've not seen this, because it is a must watch if you are even into movies. It's hard to watch this and not have a good time. Uh, I would can't give this anything other than a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all. This movie is an absolute achievement in filmmaking, in every way, shape, and form. The things that they did that had never been done before, they had to create new programs for things that they were doing in this. And when you add that and what was done on screen, you've got such great actors that bring all of these characters to life, minus the kids. You've got a team, guys like Stan Winston and Phil Tippett, and then on the other side with the CGI and whatnot, you've got like Dennis Mueller and like these absolute powerhouses that have won awards after awards for their creative work. And then you've got Steven Spielberg, who, like we said, is quite possibly the greatest director of all time. He is in both of our opinions. I mean, everything about this movie says absolute home run. It is so much fun to look at. The filming locations where they are in Hawaii are still there. You can go there and visit and tour them, and I hope to be able to experience that one day. This movie is so much fun, beginning to end. You said you watch this movie through the eyes of the director. I still watch this movie through the eyes of a 10-year-old. Like, I turn this movie on and I'm instantly back to my childhood, and I'm just in awe of seeing these things just like I did that first time. And I agree with you. This is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. I would give this the hardest of recommends across the board to anyone and everyone, whether you've seen it or not. This movie never, ever seems to disappoint. I wish I could say the same about all of the sequels. But as we've learned, you're never going to top the original. And yeah, I would agree with you. This movie is an absolute perfect movie. It's a 10 out of 10 for me as well. And just 1 second, my throat's a little dry. Hold on. Sorry about that. So that is going to bring us to the end of our first episode on Steven Spielberg. As we move forward, it is my turn to pick. And, I mean, I think you already know where I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, directed by the great Steven Spielberg. We will be going back to 1975 to what is still considered the first modern-day blockbuster. And Juan, we're going to need a bigger boat because we're watching Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
Had to do it. I know. I can't do a series of Steven Spielberg and not talk about quite possibly his most iconic movie that he ever did, and one of the first ones that he ever did, really, let's be honest. And I mean, this movie put both him and, like I said, summer blockbusters on the map. And a lot of the things that like you had said earlier in this episode, a lot of the things that he learned while making Jaws, he used in this movie. So yeah, I can't think of a better movie for my first pick than to go back and give that one a good rewatch. Now, I don't know when the last time is you saw this. I've seen it quite recently, a few times.
It's been a minute.
Well,
It's been a minute because I have a definitive shark movie that I like to rewatch.
Deep Blue Sea.
So,
if you're referring to Deep Blue Sea, that's what I like to consider like the quote unquote unofficial Jaws sequel.
okay, that's a wild.
It's just because they have the license plate in the tiger shark's mouth of the same one from Jaws.
But no, yeah, I think it's been a minute since I've seen it. I'm looking forward to rewatching it just to see how I feel about it now.
I know how I'm going to feel about it, but we'll get into that when we talk about that next week. But that's going to wrap it up here for us. And as always, we want to thank all of our listeners and subscribers, and would like to ask you to all rate and review the pod. Those 5-star ratings would really help us out, as well as tell your family and friends about us and help us grow. As always, give us a follow on our socials posted in the show notes. And until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Take it easy.
Lights down, screen up, here we go. Talking movies everybody knows. The good, the bad, the ones we quote.